you start from the first. So so you may now comment your name and your ID number for your attendance. Where is it? So today is our live question and answer discussion on module 5, which covers analysis tools. No? So number 1, as you can see, from your module 1 to module 4, actually it is your module 5 is based on analysis na we'll get to analyze which is the best alternative, which is should be kana implemented, and then kung makabantayan mo, there are many types of analysis tools before we proceed to a project. No? So here are some of the analysis tools na we need to discuss. Number 1, present worth method. Number 2 is unwitty worth. Number 3 is future worth, IRR or and ROR. Second is we can base it on ratio and proportion. So we have benefit cost ratio and profitability index. And lastly, we can base our kanang alternative implementation or to choose from the break-even analysis. But pasabot kung siya ang pinakabagamay og break-even, siya nga machine ang would give you a shorter payout period sa imuhang kay mas gamay man siya og break-even. So, to start off, let's have our Q&A discussion on the present worth method or the worth method. So, kani nga topic is basically single project evaluation method. This means nga if you have one project but you have 2 or more alternatives, this is what you should do in getting whether or not which alternative to choose from the different alternatives. No? So, as you can see, the very reason why there is a need for evaluation is number 1, is to know basically if it is profitable. Number 2, if it is acceptable. Number 3 is should it be rejected or not. And lastly is the evaluation. So kung mayroon tayong evaluation, we are looking into the value or cash flow. Kung in other terms, sa inyong ubang subjects, you are looking into efficiencies. Right now, in ES Econ, we are looking into the value of different investments. Because at some point in time, na amang di mga investment nga taas ang efficiency, but in terms of value, gamay ra siya. So these are the first 5 topics for question and answer. No, number 1, we'll proceed to the ng present worth method. So as you can see, kung mayroon tag present worth method, it refers to all of the cash flows at year 0 or at present worth. So in other terms, you are looking into kung mayroon kag F is equal to P, 1 plus I to the exponent of N. You are looking into the principal amount kung atong basihan sa module 3 nga discussion. Okay, we are looking on the value of all the cash in and cash out at year 0. Okay? So these are the steps. So kung ingon tag on our previous discussions, I state in this problem the interest rate. I'm stating the compounding interest rate, monthly interest rate. For the analysis tools, we are looking into what is the MARR. So that is, in other terms, the minimum attractive rate of return. That should be clearly defined by the company, and it is totally kanang dependent on the company's perspective or requirements. So, kung mingon ang company, I need a 20% return on my investments, so your MARR should have at least 20%. So, kasabot ra mo ani nga part. If you have no questions with regards, mo-proceed lang ko sa cash flow. So, anybody has any question with regards to the problem nga nung ang cost is inani? Nobody? And then for clarification, there is such term as learning curve. But pasabot anong learning curve is when it comes to if you are first timer on the job, you can finish the job in 3 hours. First time animo. So basically, mag-upa ka ba? And as time passes by, ang imuhang production rate or production time would decline or magkagamay imuhang production time because not until mo level na siya nga mao na ni imuhang standard time. This point diri nga nagkaubos ang imuhang pag-produce or time to produce a certain product. That is what you call learning curve. That is basically a discussion on the industrial engineering, no? And then, for the benefit lang, I specified na on the first year, 50% na ang full potential, and on the second year is 75%. So, and then from year 3 to year 7, 100% na siya. So that means na starting year 3, kani ilang gi-project nga savings nga $908,050 and 50 cents, maingon siya nga kuan siya kanang starting ana ma-meet na niya iyang target nga savings gid. So in terms of cash flow, basically it refers to only kung kumingon kag net present worth. Net present worth. That is cash in at year 0 total ha minus the cash out at year 0 mao na imong net present worth. But if I stated in the problem, ingon ko what is the net present worth for all of the cash flows on year 1, I'm only referring to year 1. So meaning that means that the cash in on year 1 on what pila iyang present worth on year 0 minus the cash out on year 1 on kanang sub-zero, no? Ana siya. So kanira akong gi-refer ana nga problem ha. Okay? So as you can see lang gyud una, stated man gud sa problem nga there is only one type of investment and then the rest is savings na, no? Wala na to gibutang diri nga mga recurring cost all throughout, no? So as you can see lang, when it comes to solving na, I'm using already the notations. These are the notations in getting the present value for a future amount at 15% interest rate for 2 years. Okay? So kung maingon ko ani, this is you get the value here at year 0, that would be 681 divided by 1.15 to the exponent of 2. Okay? So when, as you can see, the value or the present worth value of this investment is around 1.546573. That means that ang imuha di ay return on the investment is around 1.5 million. Okay? Or it is a positive. But pasabot, your cash in is way greater than your cash out and makaingon sad ka nga more than 15% ang imuhang return. Okay? Kaya because if it is 15%, but pasabot kung zero na siya, that is exactly your 15%. Any questions with regard to the present worth method? Hello. Naa pa mo? Pantan-aon ta mo, bi?
Yes, sir.
Wait. Tan-aon ta mo sa ako ang magic wand. So walay pangutan na with regards to present worth method.
Wala, sir.
Sure. Sure na jud. Sige, I'll proceed.
Yes, sir.
So after that one, there is what we call already known a future worth. So Kung sa first na to discussion, nagngita ta sa present worth, ang sa future worth, ang atong ipangita is the future worth. So, kung maingon ganito ang future worth class niya, maingon ko nga ang service life sa imuhang equipment is 7 years. Kung maingon ko future worth, ang akong gipangita is the cash in minus the cash out net future worth. Unsa man nga year, that is 7 years, so that is in 7 years. Okay? That is the net cash flow for all of your cash flows on the last year's service life sa imuhang equipment. Okay? That is basically the same when it comes to your present worth, but you are looking at the future value. Okay? So, kung mingon ko net future worth at year 8, lahi na siya. That refers to the on the 8th year na. Okay? But, in other terms lang yun, to be specific, kung mingon ko net future worth, that refers to the last year of the service life of the equipment. Okay? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, kung maingon sa data when it comes to computations, basically it has the same computation, but you are f is equal to p, 1 plus I to the exponent of n. Your f is your future worth. Pila to imong p? 1, 5, 4, 6, 5, 7, 3, 1.15 to the exponent of 7. Mama siguro na. So basically, the answer for this one is equal to that one. Okay? And then, mindful lang mo when it comes to annuities, no? So, kung ingon ko future worth of an annuity for 4 annuity payments, but pasabot kani siyang 4. Ang ako nga future value makuha diri ari sa 6 pa na siya. So, since I need to get the future worth on year 7, that is f is equal to f of 6, 1 plus I to the power of 1. Mauni siyang f over a 15%, then f over p 15%, then ako pa siyang i-compound for 1 year para makuha ang year 7. Gets? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Sige. I'll proceed. So since basically you have the same problem, the results would be the same. Your future worth still is positive and also your annuity worth. So for annuity worth sad, kung maingon sa tag annuity worth, mao man ni imong cash flows, no? This is your set of cash flows. When it comes to annuity worth, you will consider ordinary annuity. Okay? Ordinary annuity for 7 years, and 7 siya because it should have the same service life. Okay? So, kung mingon ta og annuity worth gani, namang different problems for annuity. We have deferred annuity, we have ordinary annuity, and we have annuity due. But for this type of discussion or for this analysis, we are looking into the ordinary annuity. Okay? Since F, you can actually solve it using two ways, no? First, you'll have to get the P or the future value. So, kung mingon kag P, that is A, 1 plus I to the exponent of n minus 1 divided by I, 1 plus I to the exponent of n. Kung F naman po ang imuhang naa, that is A, 1 plus I to the exponent of n minus 1 over I. You'll have to get your A. Okay? So, for annuity worth, actually, ako na siyang gi-compute using two ways, no? Number one, I get the future worth. After getting the future worth of the value, ikuha na ko ang annuity. So, say, for example, you have f is equal to a. 1 plus I to the exponent of n minus 1 divided by I. Your f is equal to 4, 113,914.94 is equal to A. 1.15 to the exponent of 7 minus 1 divided by 0.15. Pila man answer, class? 1.15. 7 minus 1 divided by 0.15. 413,914.94. So the answer would be 371,734.85. Okay? Gets ra? So also, nako sa siyang gisolve using the present worst method. So we already know still the present worst. So T is equal to A 1 plus I to the exponent of n minus 1 over I 1 plus I to the exponent of n. Your P is equal to 1546573.004 equals to A 1.157 minus 1 divided by 0.15, 1.15 exponent 7. So, this will give you the same answer. Next. So, I'll proceed to IRR, or what we call as internal rate of return. So, kumingon sa tag-IRR, you should know the internal rate of return para makibaw ka if wala nag-identify ang company og MARR, you'll have to give them a certain values, ano? Dili na lang sad kami ingon, sir, di sad may katag-an ana, sir. So you'll have to give him a certain value of the internal rate of return for your investment. Okay? If the answer would be negative, that would mean it refers to dili na nimo ma-recover imong initial investment, no? And then, so there are basically three ways in solving. Number one, direct solution method. Number two is trial and error. And number three is using your Excel. But, kung maingon ta og kung maingon ta Excel, basically you can formulate that one. So, we have two projects provided. No? Project 1 is on year 0, negative 3,000 and year 4, 4,500 na. Ang project 2 that is negative 2,000 in investment on the next 2 years na nasa siya cash in. So, we'll have to get the internal rate of return for each investment. No? So, kung mayroon kang internal rate of return, supposedly you should have kanang cash in minus cash out at the same year, di ba? Same year. So kung ingon tag kuan lang, year 0. So that is negative 3,000. Cash out ni plus the cash in of 4,500 divided by 1 plus I to the exponent of 1, 2, 3, 4 equals to 0. So assuming nga you have wala kay income or loss on this part, you'll have to get the internal rate of return. So in that way, you will be able to get that 3,000 is equal to 4,500 divided by 1 plus I to the exponent of 4. Okay? Therefore, makuha nimo imong value of interest rate. The answer would be, pila man? 10.67. That means na ang kaniyang project 1, ang iyang internal rate of return is 10.67% per year. Okay? So in other terms, kung mo invest kog 3,000 nya 10.67 per year for 4 years na ko invest, it should be equivalent to 4,500. Ano siya? 1.1067 to the exponent of 4 times 3,000. So that is equivalent to 4,500. Okay? Since we already know that F is equal to P, 1 plus I to the exponent of N. So for project 2, kung may ka, you have 1 cash out and 2 cash inflows. No? So in terms of formula, imong kuha ng present worth lang. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, ako na siyang simplify ang equation. So, kani siya nga part dire, which is on the last portion on your equation, you can go to unsa man? Sa calculator ninyo, you can go to equation na mode. And then, ang iya siya is degree is 2. Okay? After nimo click og degree, this is the value of your A, the value of your B, and this is the value of your C. So for some calculators class, ang iyang arrangement is A plus B is equal to C. Same as my calculator inani siya. Okay? But for some pod na pod siya A plus B plus C is equal to 0 sa calcu. So try to mind lang the format sa inyong calcu ha. Ang ako kinani ang format sa kong calcu. Okay? So, by that time, makakuha na ta nga the value is 25% and negative 160%. Balik. Meaning, you do not have any negative interest rate. So, basically, the answer is 25%. So, ang IRR, I'm referring to IRR. So, the IRR is equal to 25% for project 2. So, kung ako ang papilion, I'll go for project 2 since it will give me a higher rate of interest or internal rate of interest. Any question with regards to IRR? Wala. Proceedingly, I'll go to the ROR method or the rate of return. So, if your ROR is greater than your interest rate, it should be feasible. You know? So, if your ROR or the net annual profit over the first cost, then net annual profit nimo is the revenue minus cost per year. So, that is annual expenses plus annual depreciation charge ng AC. So as you can see, you have this problem. You have a 2.5 investment. Its cost per year on maintenance is 10% of the 2.5 million. 10 million de ang imong investment niya, 10% ang imuhang maintenance cost. And then, determine the rate of return on the total investment if annual revenue is 2.5 million. Letter B is determine the minimum payout period if annual profit is 2.5 M. So, by formula, net annual profit, that would be annual revenue minus the maintenance cost na 10% divided by 10M, that is equivalent to 15%. Payout period, sad, when it comes to payout period, revision lang on the formula, that is investment cost over the annual cash inflow. Okay? So the investment cost is 10 million and the cash inflow is 2.5 M. So regardless of the recurring cost or maintenance, no? So payout period or the return of my investment would be exactly 4 years basing only on my cash inflow. Question. Hello. Pangutana mo ha. Sabi ito activity after. I'll proceed to the benefit cost ratio. May pangutana wala? Hindi lagi mo pangutana.
Sir, karon ang activity or Tuesday?
Yes. Activity
ang sa
karon.
Canvas, may Tuesday.
Activity. Wait, ako i-check. Nag-open sa Google Speakers. Ang activity is today. Sakto. Wait akong i-edit. Ang activity is today. Okay na? Today is your activity for Module 5, Tuesday in yung module question. So, benefit and cost ratio. So, I'll proceed to computations. Okay. Number 1, kumingan tag benefits class when it comes to benefits. Kumingan kang your primary benefit is increase in sales. O niya to justify already your project, there's no need to secondary benefits no kanang ma-minimize na ko ang yang promotions and then so these are benefits na indirectly attributable sa imong project no. Example kanang first bridge ay third bridge inibaro sa third bridge na siya tollway. So ang imong makolekta nga toll mao na imong gitawag nga benefit nga directly attributable to project. So kaduha dili na kay traffic because you have already 3 bridges for Lapu-Lapu City no. Dili man na nimo ma-quantify in terms of kuan. So that is an indirect benefit nga na minimize ang traffic. So not unless ang imong primary benefit kay dili siya maka-outweigh sa kanang imong total cost of the project, kinahanglan nimo compute imong secondary benefit in terms of monetary values. Okay? That means nga if your primary benefit alone are sufficient to justify the project's cost, ang secondary benefit dili na nimo angay pa i-just i-quantify no. Not unless needed yun siya. And then basically cost is the price or required amount for the investment. So these are the steps. So I'll skip that one because that was already discussed in the pre-recorded discussion. So by formula, what any clarification with regards to the formula? Anyone?
Wala, sir.
Wala ra. So still this is what you call as the net present worth of the benefit at year 0 and net present worth of your cost at year 0 ra gyapon. This is negative by equation kay because imo man siyang gihimong multiplier. But by formula, this is the future divided by 1 plus I to the exponent of n. Negative na siya. Okay? So, I'll proceed. So, si Kuan lang actually for C, for the cost, when you say cost, it is justified into 2 types of cost. No? Number 1 is investment cost. These types of cost are investments or non-recurring or dili magbalik-balik. Your C hat refers to costs that are recurring. For example is operational cost, operating cost, maintenance cost, mao na siya yung mga recurring cost. No? So if your present worth at a certain interest rate, therefore your B minus C is greater than 0. Ano man? For an investment to basically be considered, your benefit should outweigh your cost at any point. So, for example, you have one problem. No? So, kani siyang AN class, kuan ra ni siya actually. Cash flow ra ni siya per year. That is BN minus CN. So, negative 10. Kani, negative 10. This is 20 minus 5. This is 15. 30 minus 5. This is 25, 22, and 12. Okay? Kaya pwede man ko usara ka cash flow. Kanina lang nga cash flow akong tanawon. But for the benefit of discussion, ako lang ipakita ang tanang cash flow. No? So for this problem, you have different types of cash flows. You have your benefit cash flow, you have your investment or your CN, and you have the CN recurring cost. This is CHA. Okay. So let's compute first your benefit. So benefit is equal to kani siya getting all of its values at year 0. That means that your benefit for this project is 71.98. So, succeedingly, I'll be computing the investment, and the C hat. So, usayang sa problem, ibutang na niya nga, investment is up to year 1. So, pasabot, kaning first 2 cash flows, mao ni siya ang investment cost. Okay? Still, the formula or the computation is the same. You'll have to get the present worth at year 0 for both. Mao ni siyang $10 plus $10 over 1 plus 10 to the exponent of 1. This is kanisad ko ni mo iyahang present value. Okay? So now we basically have the C, I, and C hat. Your C is 37, your I is 19.19. So we can already compute for the benefit cost ratio at 10% interest rate. No? That is B over C. Okay, so the answer is 1.92. Therefore, the project's benefits exceeds the user's cost. Okay? Question or clarification. Walay? Ako sa kong charger.
None na, sir.
No, so naamagutoy ng utana nako. If mangita ko sa net present worth for the project, what am I referring to? Kumingan ko NPW ba? Kumingan ko NPW. Unsa may akong gipangita ana? Hello. Diba nag-discuss tag present worth? No.
Inflow minus outflow, sir.
Yes. So how will you compute that one if you're only given B, C, and I? Ba-compute di.
B minus.
B is cash in, di ba?
Yes,
Sakto? And your C, I, and C hat are cash outs. Sakto?
Yes, sir.
Okay, namagod sa problem nga what is the net present worth ni BCA sir, dili lagi ni masolve kay kuwang og given. So the given are this is already at present worth naman. So you'll have to lang. So for incremental, the steps are actually the formula libog lang na siya tan-awon kaning K minus J and etc. etc. But the formula is the same. You'll have to arrange that only on so naata example nga paano problem no, you have A1, A2 and A3. Kung mingon kag present worth value akong pilion sa A2 kasi siya pinakadako present worth, but when it comes to mingon ko BC ratio akong basis, si A3 may pinakadako og BC ratio, di ba? Mao na siya, ara na siya ang confusion when it comes to choosing a project no, kay lahi lagi ang computation depending on the company. But for some, ilang ko on yun ang present worth of the investment. Okay? So, number 1, when it comes to incremental analysis, you'll have to arrange the denominator in an increasing value. That refers to your C or the I plus C hat. Nga naman. That means that in order for you not to have a negative denominator, i-arrange nimo siya accordingly. So, for example, kung na-arrange na nimo siya, you'll have to compare A1 and A3. So, that is A3 minus A1, therefore 21,000 minus 12,000 over 15. This is your B over C, ragyapon nga formula ha. But the basis is minus lang nimo ang duha. So, by choosing or by getting the value of 1.50, therefore, A3 is better than your A1. So, if mayon kag A3 is better than your A1, so X na. Number 2, you'll have to compare A3 and A2 already. So, after getting the value of your BC ratio or incremental BC ratio, you get a value of 1.07. Therefore, A2 is a better choice. So, X na ni siya. So, when it comes to having your decisions in terms of incremental BC ratio, Inani ang flow, makaingon kang A2 is a better choice compared to your A1 and A3. Profitability index, the difference between the two. Kung mingon kag benefit cost ratio, is you are looking only whether your benefit outweighs your cost. So kung mingon sa tag profitability index, you are trying to quantify the amount of value created per unit of investment. So kani siya mao naman ni imuhang net per year divided by your investment. So makita nimo pila ra din siya ang iyang value. So kung magkuan ka, when you look into comparing the two, which is better? Anybody? Hello? Hello?
Profitability, sir.
Why man? Nga naman? That's because ang imong gitanaw diri sa profitability index is ni net na ka. So mao na gid na imuhang murag profit na gid. Diri kay kuan naman ni siya, revenue ra man ni. Okay, so limpyo na ka. So say for example, you have this type of problem. You have a 5-year program that commit to the government or constant dollars and etc. So by computation or by formula, ang imong B is equal to 77.44, your I 28.69, and your C is 18.78. Therefore, makakompute actually sa imong BC ratio. Your BC or your profitability index will give you a value of 2.044, meaning ang imuhang benefit minus recurring cost is 2 times your investment. Okay? But pasabot ana niya, the project is worth undertaking because ang imuhang limpyo na per year o is times 2 sa imong investment. Okay? So, I'll proceed to incremental profitability index, and then you have actually the same problem. But if you look into the present worth A2 gihapon, if you look into the profitability index, A1 may pinakadako. Okay? So, see, still, the equation or the solution is to arrange your denominator in an increasing manner. So, that refers to your investment. A1, A3, and A2. So, the incremental cost for A1, A3 minus A1 is 1.33. Therefore, A3 is a better choice. After ana, you'll have X na siya. You'll be comparing A2 and A3. The answer is 1.17. So, A2 is a better choice. So, with no further alternatives, A2 is the best choice or alternative. PEP. So, kuan lang. For businesses, you'll have to consider the following. What are the 3 types of cost when it comes to computing your break-even point? Number 1, fixed cost. Basic example is warehouse. If magabang ka og warehouse or you're trying to rent a warehouse with a capacity of 50,000 units, and then you're only storing 10,000 units, you'll have to pay equivalent of 50,000 units. Okay. Variable cost is a type of cost that as your volume increases, your cost increases. Selling price or profit margin is the selling price of the per unit. I'll proceed to the problem. So, Ashland Company manufactures and sells a single product. So the company's sales and expenses for the previous month are as shown as follows. Sales is 500,000. variable cost is 250, contribution margin is 250, Lex fish cost is 150, income before tax is 100,000. What is the monthly break-even point? So you can actually solve it using two ways. Okay? That is in terms of the monthly or per unit ka. Okay? So kung mingon tag per unit, that is pila imong fixed cost? Fixed cost divided by 20 minus 10. Pila man? You have a break-even point of 15,000 units. Okay? Okay? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So, ang imong answer is kani. Your letter B is this one. Change income. Actually, income, ang formula na yun sa income no, is equal to your revenue minus expenses. Okay? Your revenue states the sales per selling price times the number of units, or I denote that as Q, minus your variable expense times the quantity minus the fixed cost. So, mao ni imong income nga formula. The answer is 20,000 units. Or if given na ka total ana niya, na you'll have to substitute only. Mao ni siya pinaka sayon nga topic actually. So the next problem would be, suppose that the company expects the following financial results from a project, no? Sales revenue is 250,000, variable cost is 80,000, fixed cost is 50,000. And then ang imong unit sold is 1,000 units. So divide na nimo 1,000, 1,000, pila man ni? 250, and this is 80. Compute for the margin percentage. Your margin percentage is equal to 250 minus 80 divided by 250. Okay? So, mano siya. 68%. Imong contribution margin, this is 250 minus 80,000 divided by 170,000 divided by 250. Your break-even point is fixed cost divided by selling minus fixed, which is 295 units. And then your income is 250,000 minus 80,000 na fixed cost minus 50,000 na variable 50,000 na fixed cost, variable cost is 80K. Therefore, your income for the problem is $120,000. I'm done. Clarification, question, and clarifications. Anyone? Copy sa ko ah. Question.
Excuse me, sir. Assignment, sir, bakay karon jud ang deadline.
What do you want?
Pwede inig Tuesday kay mag-activity ron test.
Okay.
Kapag oral.
Okay. Assignment, no? For Module 5?
Yes, sir.
Sige. Di man ko lisod ka istorya. Tuesday. Oh, mana. You have until Tuesday.
Thank you, sir.
Any more question?
Sir, kaning
Wala na,
August
sir.
ang final exam, sir.
Ang final exam akong gi-schedule on Sunday next week. So, mahog nagdungan mong duha ka grupo nako. Probably by Tuesday siguro after taking your module quiz. And then mag-take mo mong activity karon, I'll be checking it immediately. Inig module quiz ako na siya checkan. After the module quiz ako na nang i-update akong kanang kanang grading system no, or kanang akong tawagan na kaning ako ang kaning ting compute ako grado basta kana ako na i-update para I can give you your minimum requirement para makakuan mo pila inyong kinahanglan nga score sa final exam para makatrace mo ginana ako ihatag. And then if you get a bigger value than the kuan, so basically your grade would be not 3.0. More siya kinana. Okay? Any question? Question. Wala may pangutana.
Sir.
Unsa man? Pangutana mo ha. Do narating namin ni mangutana nako ni ako rang mag-video na lang pud ko ba. With discussion gamay para pud makasabot. Unsa man inyong pangutana? Anyone? O katong maulaw, pwede rin mo ma-chat ha. Wala na may pangutana kay I'll end the recording so that you can have the ample time for your activity. Wala na? Sure na, Jod? Stop na ko recording.
Wala, sir.